Hi Flosstube, it's Karen, recovering monogamous stitcher. I'm back with Flosstube number 47. Today is Friday, June 21st, 2024, and I hope to get this uploaded today and hope you enjoy it. I have so many things to share, finishes and whips and haul and stitch book ideas and quilting stuff and oh my goodness. So and we have a celebration for 4K for my channel, and I'm so excited about that. So welcome to my channel. If you're new, I'm so happy you're here. Please click subscribe and like and join our virtual stitching family. And to my longtime viewers, I really appreciate your support and coming back and the comments on the videos and the kind of dialogue we can get going, and it's so much fun. I appreciate it so much, and I'm blown away that 4,000 of you have decided it's worth coming back to watch my video, and I'm honored, honestly. And of course, I'm talking about stuff that we all like. We all have it in common. Other people don't get it, but we kind of talk stitchy and we get it, and so it's fun. So I hope I have everything gathered here because it is, this is quite a haul of stuff, not necessarily just haul. So one thing I wanted to mention from the last video, I told you that I used a fabric glue to glue the top on my Pennsylvania Pinky Brenda Gervais and on the top of my strawberry, the large strawberry from Winds of Autumn. And I have the glue. Thank you for several of you reminding me in the comments, please show the glue. Okay, it's Aleene's brand, so we know the brand. At Aleene's Fabric Fusion. And it comes with a dual tip, so, and I store it in this so I don't lose it. The top has a fine tip. That's what I used on the drum pin keep and on the strawberry. And then it has a fat end here, which is kind of like a dauber. And that's what I used to patch grandson's shorts. I have had this for 2 years, and when I opened it to use on my last projects here, I thought, I hope it didn't dry up. It didn't. It's great. It's still good. So I got it. I happened to get it at Hobby Lobby, but I'm sure they have it at Michael's. Any place they carry Aleene's. Aleene's Fabric Fusion. It's great. It worked great for my projects, and so it might solve a problem for you if you're interested in that. Okay. Another thing I wanted to talk about before I get going on my projects here is Mrs. Parkman's Needlework Academy. And when that was first mentioned, I said, I think I'm going to make a book. I didn't want to do the sampler. I have other samplers that I want to put time on, but I want to learn all the specialty stitches. And I mentioned I'm going to do a book. Well, I spent a lot of time thinking and searching and how can I do this book? I found some beautiful stitching books that were made where people had pages that showed specialty stitches, but they were entirely fabric. They all sewn together, gorgeous. But I needed to have pages that I could write the descriptions and draw diagrams so that it's an instructional piece for me or my granddaughter or whoever. So I needed to be able to have paper pages, and I also wanted to have fabric pages, so I have my demonstration of the stitches. So I searched and I thought about another thing. Some people make things like junk journals, you know, where they have the, what do you call that kind of cardboard? Tag board, and they have things that they punch the holes, and I don't want to buy equipment that I'm going to use just once. So I didn't want to do that myself, and I couldn't find anything where I could finagle it together. But what I found on Amazon, when I was looking, so I decided, oh, I'll just get a 3-ring 5x7 notebook and I'll put pages in, which would have been fine, but look at what I found on Amazon. Here's the picture on the cover of it. The cover is hard and has holes in it, so you can stitch on the cover. Okay, let me show you. Okay, I've put a few just simple cross stitches on it so far. Okay, the first page in behind it is black, so it shows nicely. And then on the first page I put stitching journal and my name and the year, and lessons from Mrs. Parkman's Needlework Academy. And sorry for licking my finger, it's a habit from being a kid. Okay, and then I started with lesson 1, starting and ending threads, diagram. Here's where you start, this is what you do, da-da-da, waist knot, alternate waist knot on the next page. Pin stitch, the description, a diagram, and how to do it. And then I have, and I've not attached these yet because when I first cut them I was just guessing, and so I might want to make them just a little bit narrower so they don't interfere with the rings. But there's my sample, and I write on the fabric using, I think I've shown this before, it's the Pentel gel pen, permanent, it's for fabric. Gel roller for fabric. And when you write on the fabric, honestly, it's just like writing on paper. It doesn't get caught. I used to try to do my labels using those micron pens, and they were fine tip, and they would kind of catch on the fabric, and it was hard to do a nice printing and writing. And so, but this works great. So that's what I used there. So I did a page of linen for a sample, and I did a page on Ada for a sample. And I'm going to continue that way. I'm way behind because I spent a lot of time thinking and thinking, gotta think. So I've watched the videos, but I've not drawn them out or written them out. Of course, you know, you want to take your time and make it neat and all that stuff. So it takes me a long time. So I'm way behind, but I'm going to finish this. I put the link for this in the notes below. I hope when it uploads that the link works. But it's Amazon, and I think I called it a stitch journal. It popped up when I was looking at the 5x7 little notebooks, and there's another similar book that has that kind of cover. It's a brown, but it's bound at the side. And I thought, since I'm going to be adding fabric on some of the pages, it would be good to have rings so it can adjust for that thickness. That was my thinking. So this is what I'm doing for my book. The book comes with, you know, some threads. They're not DMC, I don't know what they are, but they're colorful, fine threads. I mean, I can use these or use my DMC or whatever I want. And let's see, I have all my little stuff here. I have my pens that I write with, and I just have it all together here in a bag, and I'm going to continue on working on this book. I've seen some nice examples of people who have been working on the sampler. Somi Sarah in Ireland showed hers. She's coming right along with that sampler. Looks very nice, but I decided I wanted a book. So that's what I'm doing. So, and a couple people seemed interested in that, so I thought I would share. This is what I'm doing. It's how I'm going to move forward. And now that I've made a darn decision, I can move forward and get caught up. So I'm going to put that aside now. Okay, and if you're interested, I'd like to know about it. Okay, now I'm ready to talk about stitching. I've had a great 2 weeks, except there were some days I didn't do any stitching because I was doing finishing. I hate finishing, but I did it. I slogged through and finished. So I've had some finishes. I've had new start. I had a start and finish in one day. That was exciting. Anyway, I'll start showing you what I have. Okay, have to slide over here. Oh. Sorry. I just don't have a big enough table to have this all laying out here. Okay, so I finished the 10 Prairie Schooler Santas. Yay! These are going to my daughter. I used Vanna's tutorial. Although I could not find the specific one, again, that showed me how to do the cording to make the hanger. I just couldn't find it, and I was trying to remember, and I think I did kind of a mess up on that. But so you can see on some of them I did almost like a tassel at the end because I couldn't make a neat knot. My knots seemed so big and fat, they looked ugly, and the more I fussed with them, the shorter they got, so I just had to make a decision and go with it. So I have 10 of them done, Oops, and this one I didn't, oh yes, I did pin it. Let me undo this one so I can show the back. Okay, the back is fabric from Kansas Trebles. It's from several years ago now, so you couldn't get the specific one. But Kansas Trebles really has great color families that go with stitching and prim and just looks really nice. And so this is one I finished with a knot. Not at all happy with that. It's so big and clunky. And I put the year ornament, not the year that the ornament was published, but the year I finished stitching it. And I, of course, know that because I keep track in my stitching books. So they're each dated like that. So these will soon get boxed up along with Strawberry Bird and get sent to daughter. So they have 10 more ornaments for their tree. I think I had 5 or 6 previously, and she has those already. So there they are. I feel like I'm done with Prairie Schooler Santas. I love Prairie Schoolers, but I'm kind of over the Santas. So that's that. The next thing I did was I spent days pinning and lacing. Again, I hate that. Okay, mason jars, mason jar lineup. The Ada is so hard to work with. It's, you know, it's not flexible at all. It's thicker than normal. So I've got some places here at the edge where it kind of comes out. Now, my framer did say when I was talking to her, she said, this is thicker than your usual fabric, isn't it? And I said, yes. So I think she has accommodated, but I don't know. If that doesn't go in, I don't know what I'll use a hammer. I don't know what I'll do with it. But so it's ready to go. And I've gotten a call that the frame I chose for this specific one is out of stock. And she said, do you want to choose something else? I said, no, let's see if that comes back in stock. I'll wait. I have time. So, mason jar lineup, ready to go in the frame. Strawberry Fields Forever, Blackbird Designs. Again, I had this in a standard size frame. I wasn't pleased with the way it looked. And so I took it out, and it's going to be its own nice little frame. They should be in a Monday. And Cinnamon Stars. Again, I had put this in on a standard frame. It wasn't right. It deserves a better finish, so it's ready to go in its own frame. So that's part of the finishing time I spent. No, let me get these. Sorry. And then I spent a day at the sewing machine making some project bags. I used the Ties That Bind Blackbird fabric. I had gotten a whole bolt of it from Kitten Stitcher. It came down to like $4 and some cents a yard. So anyway, I have made some project bags. I just cut them whatever way they came, you know, they not all centered and special. The thing I was disappointed with is finding a color of zipper that goes with this is really hard. I wanted to pick up a red or the blue, but you don't find zippers that are a subtle color like that. They're either navy or bright blue or bright red or dark red, and it's just not right. So anyway, they're just plain, but they have the foam center, so they're nice and sturdy. That's the way I like them, and I like the vinyl front. Okay, so that's some more stitching that I did. Okay, those are my fully finished objects. And I had some finishes. They're here, hang on. Okay, sorry. I tell you, I have all these multiple piles of things. Okay, Forget-Me-Not. Stitching is done. This is the back panel for the box. This is the one with my initials. And I'm really happy that I chose this. I like that. And then I pulled out a few little small motifs to stick in to fill it out a little bit. So this is the last stitching piece for the box. And it all comes from Modern Folk Embroidery Forget-Me-Not pattern. So since I finished the stitching, this is the last time I'll show this to you until it is fully finished. And that's going to be a while. I have the box. Do not have the correct hardware yet. I have not gotten my paper for the bottom or for the edges of the top, but I have sources now. One of my stitchy friends helped me find some sources for a good kind of paper that I want to use. I don't have the lining yet. I'm not going to do the silk lining like Katie did. It looks to me like it requires way more talent than I have. So I will look for, I'm sure on Amazon I can get a little felted or velvety kind of jewelry box liner. I know they would have that. So I'll go with that. And then when it is fully finished, I'll be happy to show it to you. So bye-bye to Forget-Me-Not. And that was my focus piece. And that was done. So when that was done, which became my next one? Little Red Chair Sampler is the next one. Another finish, Peaceful Kingdom from Little Robin Designs. This was my red sampler. It's not a sampler, but I used it as a red stitch. I always have a red stitch going. So here it is. And I'm not going to frame this. This is going to be a more informal, I guess, kind of finish. And I picture it hanging on one of the closet doors. I have two closets that are dedicated to my stitching stuff. I have one that's pretty much all quilts and another that's quilts and cross stitch. So on one of those closet doors, this is going to hang. Just a gentle reminder to anyone who passes by. Okay. Oops. Okay. Okay, I wanted to demonstrate how I keep track of my focus piece and finishes and how I do that in the book of days and so forth. So I finished Forget-Me-Not, and in my book, okay, so this stitching journal, I get this from Fat Quarter Shop. To me, it works perfectly for me and I like it. And I like the system I've worked for myself. You might like it and do what makes you happy, but this works for me. So Forget-Me-Not was number 2 in the book. So on page number 2 is my information on Forget-Me-Not. When I finished it, I put the finish date on the page. I went back to the table of contents and put the finish date there. Then I go to my book of days, and I have added extra pages in the book of days. So I have a page for finishes for the year. So Forget-Me-Not got put on this list. And then, the other step, I go back and check, was that project one of the whips that I carried in from 2023? And indeed it was. So, where is it now? So I marked it on my list, done. So when I look at this, I know these are the ones that came from 2023. And as I finish them, I'll put a date. So I'll know if I've finished all of those. Okay, here we go. Flosstube throat, sorry. And if I finished all those, it makes me happy. If not, I need to get my rear in gear and get going. So those are the ones that I brought in from 2023. So that's how I keep track. And put those aside. Now I took this out of the bag. Put it back, or I'll be looking for it. Okay, works in progress. You know, I did a lot of finishing. I did work on some things. As I said, Little Red Chair Sampler from the Scarlett House has become my new focus piece. So I will give it at least 7 days every month until it is finished. Now this month, there were the days that I worked on Forget-Me-Not that counted as my focus piece. And then this became my focus piece. So I finished out the 7-day total with this. So next month, this will get 7 days, or if it gets finished before that, yay. So anyway, so this is my next focus piece. And I didn't put it on a board. I don't know what I was thinking. I wasn't, apparently. Hang on. Let me just do Okay, so I worked on it a little bit. I know the chair wasn't done before. I think I did all of this. I did the parrot and that. I was working on that, I think, at our Central Kentucky Stitchers stitching time together. So that's where I am. I'm probably half, maybe half done with that. That's my focus. Okay. And then I finished Peaceful Kingdom, and that was my red piece. And so my next piece is Anna Omen, and this is from Lila Studio. And when I first mentioned this, when I got this, I said it calls for used brick. And I said, I think used brick is too yellow. Or, yellow, too pink. I don't know where my brain is. I think it's too pink. But I read the details on the pattern, and the designer said that DMC number 3830 is closest to the original. Well, I'm all about that. So I had the DMC plus an extra skein, and I also had used brick. I had part of a skein and then a full new skein. So I looked at them and compared them. That wasn't a very good way to show you. Put on something white so you can see. Ugh. Thought I was so ready for this. Okay. So I looked at them and compared them, and they really, really are close. So then I had a choice. Will I do DMC or will I do the overdyed? And just to change things up, I thought I'll use the overdyed. But I was surprised after looking at Maria Vincenza so long with that red, it just to my eye didn't look red enough, but it's perfect for this. Big surprise, the designer knows what she's talking about, huh? So here is my little start. Just got going across the top. Okay, so there we go. And when you see it like this, it looks perfectly fine, like it's red. Not comparing it to a red. So that's my start on Anna Omen. And she will be my red piece that I will work on 3 days a month, at least 3 days a month, because I always like to have a red one going. The next whip that I worked on, right, a focus piece, the red sampler. Okay, Long and Winding Road, Blackbird Designs. And I've shown on my other, I did not pull that page. Oh, I have it right here. This is part of Mystery Sal, not Mystery Sal, Magical Mystery Tour, Blackbird Design Sal by Sarah Stitchy Spot, and I can't read backwards, I'm sorry. Julian Stitches 16, Fab 4 Sal. So if you're interested, jump on that bandwagon and post it. Okay, I don't know about you, but I've kind of gotten disappointed in Instagram when you post, you know, with the hashtag. Used to be you could look up the name of the hashtag and see everyone else's posts on that hashtag, and it doesn't work like that anymore. You see like the top few posts or something. Well, I want to see everybody's. So anyway, I haven't posted on Instagram for a long time anyway. I don't know why. Okay, Long and Winding Road. Now, I thought I was going to finish this yesterday afternoon. I had it finished. I had stuff here. I had just this part empty, just there. But I had stuff here. It was going up. Oh, I'm going to get this done today. And then as I was stitching along, I got up here and I thought, oh, there's going to be room there for me to put my initials and the year that I stitched it. And there's plenty of room. Is there really supposed to be that much room? No, there's not. If you look on the front, it's pretty close. It's just a few stitches away. And I was way over. Well, I had miscounted Doi at the beginning of 3 hours of stitching. I had miscounted, so all those motifs had to come out. I had that and that and all the way up there. I didn't do that yet. So all of that had to come out. So that's where I will start again. So it didn't get done yesterday like I thought, but it's fun. And I'll talk to you about how I'm going to finish this in a bit, because that'll come up in haul. It calls, of course, for the shaker box, lone elm shaker box, which I can't do. And I had talked to you about before, looking for an appropriate way to finish another one that's around. So I found a solution, so I'll show that to you. So that was my stitching. I did a lot of finishing, and actually it was pretty good for stitching, but the finishing just sucked up time like crazy. I have some haul to share with you. Some fun stuff. First from Barry, it's Stitch Folk birthday bag. The birthday girl. That face. Oh, Barry. She's put that face on quite a few things. It's just precious. So this is now the bag I will use for my birthday start always. So Smith Sampler has gotten a new home in its birthday bag. There's something else I want to talk to you about. I am stitching this using Vicki Clayton silks. This is what I wanted to show you. Okay. And previously I had told you that this bobbin box from Amazon is perfect for the Vicki Clayton silks, and it's really good. It is really good, but I found something better thanks to one of my friends. This is for bigger bobbins, so the circumference of the bobbin fits, but Vicki Clayton silks are still fat bobbins, so when you put them in, you do have to kind of scrunch the foam, and it's foam, it does move, so it's okay, but there's an even better way. Look at this box. I'm putting the link, it costs like $5. The bobbins lay in here perfectly. You can see the names on the top, plenty of room. So when you have a thread left, you can put it in the bottom of the section. It's perfect. I like it better. And it's flatter, so when I put it in my project bag, it doesn't poof out the project bag as much. So if you're a Vicki Clayton silk person, you might want to try this out. I put the link in the notes again. I hope it works when I upload. I think it's like $5. And thank you to Wendy. Wendy is in our stitch group. She comes with the coolest stuff. She's the one who had the finger chopsticks. Remember the finger chopsticks? She brought those. But she came across this, and I'm just so thrilled with it. So anyway, you might want to do that if you're a Vicki Clayton silk person. So I have switched that out, and I just threw a tag on the floor. Need to get that. Sorry, just a second. Don't want to lose that. Okay, so that was Barry Stitch Folk. Okay, this haul was really a gift. It came from our sweet Lisa in our stitch group. She gave us a bag, and it has a pocket on the front. Oops, on the front with a card. You can put the name of your project, and she also included a sweet pair of scissors. Isn't that nice? They're the best stitchy friends, I tell you. Okay, and I got my Floss Fix from Fat Quarter Shop. This is the Classic Colorworks Floss Fix. You don't need to see those. You've seen those before. And I got some haul from the attic. One thing I got was the proper stitch from the attic. I am still working on Ann Borit, the Montenegrin stitch, which turns every which way in that pattern. And Nicola said she would help me with it, and she would, but I sent her a picture, and it's not clear enough for her to see what I have done with the stitches. So she said, please try to get a clearer picture. Well, I can't, my camera doesn't do it any better than that. So I've been trying to draw out, this is the stitch path I used. Well, I can't even draw it out. So there's a hint for you. If you don't know how to draw it, you certainly don't know where to put your needle. So I need more study. I have this book now, and I have the one from Amy Mitten on the Montenegrin stitch autopsy, exhumed or something, whatever that is. And I just have to have some study time and sit down and figure it out and draw it out, because if it isn't in my brain, what's Nicola going to do magically to to help me. So anyway, so I have this book from the attic. Wonderful book. Looking forward to using that. And since I was ordering the book, of course I threw in a pack of needles, peacemakers, and Lucy Beam, buying cross stitch like I'm immortal. Yeah, guilty here. Guilty. In fact, I got, I think I'm about full up on what I've ordered. I got an offer for a coupon and I replied, I am full up right now. Send it to me later. Honestly, I am. And I have a few things coming yet that are coming from a long way away, so they aren't going to be here for a little bit. So it's going to look to you like I've just continued buying, but honestly, I've stepped back. Okay, another thing from the attic is I got my 103 silks for, and it looks black. It's not black, it's actually a very dark brown. It's number 774. For these two charts, which Nicola mentioned at the retreat that these would be wonderful companions. Ann Campion, Ann Campion, and Georgina Caroline Williams. They're only a few stitches difference in size, and they use the same thread color. So I'm going to do those as companions. The fabric called for was a tabby cat, and the attic didn't have it, but I have in my stash Fiber on a Whim Cappuccino, and to my eye, it looks perfect. So that's what I'm going to use. I'm going to use the Fiber on a Whim Cappuccino and the 103 Silks 774, and those are companion pieces that'll go together. So that's that. Was that the end of haul? I showed the, okay, here's the other part of haul. Okay, I mentioned when I was looking at my finishing pile that I have Midnight Ride, Blackbird Designs. And it's done, it's been done. It's been just sitting around waiting to be finished, but it calls for a round box. And I told you I looked at the paper mache boxes. I wasn't really pleased with those. Well, on Amazon, I found a wooden box under $20. It's the exact size it needs to be. So there it is. So I got one for Midnight Ride, and then as I was working on Long and Winding Road this week, I went, oh, that calls for the same finish. So I've ordered a second one. And since I've ordered the two that I need, I'll share the link with you so it won't be sold out when I need it. So again, the link is in the notes below. I hope it uploads correctly so that you can use it. Okay, that's my haul. Now, where am I? Okay, my plans. So the first plan I have is to finish Long and Winding Road, because I'm close on that. I really am, even though I've had to tear it. Oh, I'm sorry. You know what? One other thing I didn't show. I got this antiquing wax from Amazon too, so that after I paint my boxes, because I'll be painting with acrylic paint, then I'll use the antiquing wax to kind of seal it and protect it, and it'll just kind of dull down the color just a little bit. So there's that. So I jumped away. Okay, Long and Winding Road I'm going to finish because that'll be a short one. And then I'll be coming into a new month in a little bit. So, well, let's see. What I'm continuing, Little Red Chair Sampler, which is my focus. So it's going, when I flip to July, it'll start getting its 7 days. Anna Omen, I've checked all my goals. My red sampler, I've done 3 days, more than 3 days, so she'll wait till July. I'm going to catch up some time on Mrs. Parkman's Needlework Academy, get going on that little book, get more of those episodes written up and samples done. I'm going to spend time studying for the Ann Borat, get that Montenegrin figured out, that goes turn this way, turn that way, turn that way. And then my next big finishing hurdle is going to be painting these objects that I have that need to be painted for finishing. So I'll have 2 round boxes to do. I have the base for the Pennsylvania pin drum. I have 2 trays that are for various finishes that I have kitted. I haven't started stitching yet, and I have some of those paper mache letters, one that says US, a set that says USA, another set that says Boo. And I went back, when I was back last time, I looked to see if I could get RR so I could change Boo into Burr for winter, BRR. They didn't have any of that size, so anyway, I have plenty to paint, and I want to get set up once and get it done. So, that's that. We now have a little celebration. Let me get my stuff out of the way here. Let me get this in order, because I have things numbered. Okay, so to thank my viewers and subscribers for support, I have a celebration. And if you want to be a recipient, please be at least 18 so I can legally ask for your address. Do not use those words that trolls look for. Don't say free, don't say giveaway, don't say prize, none of that. You can say I'd like to receive or something, whatever, but don't say those magic words. And I'm going to ask you to put a numeral in your comment. It doesn't have to be in a sentence, and it doesn't mean the word written out. It means the numeral. Type the numbers that you're interested in. You can enter for all of these if you would like, but you can only win one. So, okay. Number 1, if you are interested, I'm giving away these 3 project bags. I will have 3 winners. Just put number 1. And I will pick 3 winners for the number 1. Okay? Here's 1. Number 2. One of my good friends from Central Kentucky Stitchers has donated this wonderful piece of fabric from Fox and Rabbit. It is 18 count Wren, Ada, and its Wren is the color from Fox and Rabbit. So if you're interested in this, please put a number 2 for the 18 count Ada. This next one kind of breaks my heart because this is a special, this is not available to be purchased. Nicola gives this as a gift to people who attend her workshops, or she did it the one I attended. I got one in a gift prize package from Colorado Cross Stitcher, so someone had donated it to be part of her prizes, and I got it that way. And then I got one from Nicola, so I have 2. So I will give it away, but this is really special because you cannot buy this. If you're interested in this Hands Across the Sea design, put the number 3. Honora Maxwell is number 3. Number 4 is Martha Jefferson from Chessie and Me. It's beautiful. I happen to have 2. I think some gremlin orders things online when I'm not aware because, of course, I couldn't make a mistake like that. So Martha Jefferson, Chessie and Me is number 4. I almost messed it up, number 4. Hands-on Design, Tulip House. This is number 5. Hands-on Design, number 5. Anne Frank from Primitive Hair. Again, I have a duplicate. I have this one kitted up, ready to go, and then I have a duplicate. So Anne Frank is number 6, the numeral 6. Next one, I put 2 patterns together. These are Teresa Kogut patterns. One is the teddy bear. I had this in a giveaway before and no one claimed it. And this is the Fox, Fox and Friend or something like that. I've kind of lost my oomph over Fox. We had Fox in our yard and then they came to a sad end and I just kind of lost my interest. So, 2 Teresa Koguts. The Teresa Kogut 2 patterns, put the number 7. Numeral 7. The next one is a pair. They aren't a pair in that way, but 2 because one's so teeny tiny. This one is called, what is it called? Sweetheart? Spring Has Sprung. Sweetheart, from the Sweetheart Tree. And it has a little charm that goes at the top. You can see that little shiny, little shiny piece right there, and the charm is inside. And the second one in that set is called Nathaniel from Indigo something. No, Catherine Strickler. And it's stitched in blue. If you're a blue lover, you would love this. Okay. And if you're interested in this set, it's the numeral 8. 8. Now you have to put the comment on this video. Don't send me an email saying you want to be in the drawing. Put a comment on this video, and I will close. I know everybody doesn't watch it right away, but in 2 weeks from now, when I do my next Flosstube, I'll do the drawing that morning before I record. So you have 2 weeks, and I think my next one is July 5. Sorry, I think. Yeah, July 5. So before early morning, July 5, have your comment on the video. And if you've missed it and it's already passed, I'm sorry. I'll have another celebration in the future. So that's the rules with that. Okay, let's talk about quilting. Let me get some stuff out of the way here. Several things having to do with quilting here. Last time I showed you on my ironing surface the prism quilt. I had it laid out and showing you what I was going to do, because that was one I had done early on when I didn't have the long arm, and I quilted it on my domestic machine. I just did stitch in the ditch. It's been hanging in my quilt closet for, what, 12 years? 13 years, something like that, and never seen a bed. So I decided I would use that as my practice to get going again after being away from the machine for over a year, and to get the machine oiled and up and ready. And the machine is working wonderfully. The operator needs more practice. So I have done some of those little hexies that were scattered around, and that's all I've done, because I've done a lot of finishing, and I just needed some stitch time to, make my heart happy. So I'll get back to that, and I've got to get going because I want to get something done for the fair. I have the top, I have the quilt sewn, I have the backing, I have the binding, but it has to get on the machine and get quilted. So I want to get some practice, get not rusty, before I start touching that that I want to enter. Sorry, here it goes to my throat again. Okay, another thing related to quilting. If you watch Antique Needleworkers, Shelley, and Carrie, Tiger Lily Design, they are starting a doing English paper piecing, making grandmother's flower garden. Now, I don't like English paper piecing. I'm not going to do that. But having them bring that up has renewed my interest in finishing my mother's start on a grandmother's flower garden quilt. And I pulled it out of the tub that it was stored in this morning. So I'm going to try to show this to you. Now, she had pieced blocks, the blocks with the white surround, and she just had a stack of the blocks. And then I went to one of my quilt, must have been the 90s, it was in the 1990s, and had the quilt shop owner help me select a color that would be appropriate to Depression era, and I started putting them together in rows. So I have some rows assembled and partly assembled with that green. But I do not like hand stitching like this. I like cross stitch, but I don't like doing this. So what I did, I cheated. I don't know if you can see. Okay, the seams between the blocks, I did on the machine. So I did a bunch of them that were 3 strung together so I could do my rows. But to do the finishing, you have to do it by hand, and I don't like it. So, but I'm going to use their impetus to kick myself in the rear and say, work on this. My mother died 20 years ago, and I've still not finished this, and that makes me feel guilty. So I'm going to pull it out and do some work on it. at least as much as I can. I used to take this, here's my tote bag. I had an old sheet and I laid the pieces out on the sheet and pinned them. So I had, you know, spread the colors out and the design and so forth. And then as I would piece together rows, whoops, I don't know if you can see that. As I pieced together rows, then they were pinned on together in rows. So I could see what I had and what I had going, and now I've made a great mess of this, so anyway. And so here are a bunch of these that I've sewn together in threes for the rows. I have more fabric left. Now when my mother did this, she didn't do English paper piecing either. She had a template she made out of cardboard, and it was cereal box cardboard. So as you trace around and around doing your shapes, you know, that cardboard deteriorates, and so then she would do another piece and then go around and around and around. So there's some variation here. So when I got this project, I made a plastic template with a window indicating the straight of grain so I could cut them out correctly. And that's how I cut out my pieces. But this technology, I don't think this plastic was even around when my mother was doing these, her flower gardens. So I'm not being critical of her, but you know, it just changed. And she was in a sewing club. My grandmother was in that club also. And they took turns going from house to house each month, and they had their sewing night. Now, I just had something in my hand, I don't see it. That was their sewing club, and I can remember when it would come to our house, well, my mother would be frantic that my brothers would not be making a mess someplace, and she was entertaining the ladies. So where'd that go? It was a cute little kit. Ah, look what I found in my bag. It's ribbon embroidery, a little kit, has the ribbon, and I think I got it from my mother because she has wrapped the ribbons around an empty toilet paper roll so they wouldn't get bent. She must have given it to me. I didn't remember it at all, so that's something I may sometime in extra time take time to do. So this is the project, Grandmother's Flower Garden. Hold me to it, make me get something done on it once in a while. Okay, so that's that story. Okay, the featured quilt. I'm going to move the camera a little bit here. A little bit. I'll move it quite a bit, sorry. I have to move the table out of the way. Okay. The name of this quilt is Under the Stars. It was a quilt along with, from Craftsy. It says it was a quilt along with, sorry, I have my papers here, with Nancy Smith. It doesn't say she was the designer, but it was a quilt along with Nancy Smith. To me, the important thing about this project was that I could buy the bundle of fabric. I could not go out and shop and find all those colors of fabric myself. So that was great. I liked that. It was not a difficult quilt to assemble. Now it came with fat quarters, and there were fat quarters that were dark. They were blue, oops, where am I? Okay, blue, black, or purple. You can see the stars on the quilt are all the darks. And then there were reds, corals, oranges. They made the chains. You see the red chains going on the quilt? They made the chains, and then there was lights that were the background. So the cutting instructions said from the, you know, blues, blacks, and purples, you cut these sizes. And then from the reds, oranges, and whatever color it was, coral, cut these sizes. And then from the background colors, the lights, cut these sizes. And then when you put them together, one block, let me see if I can show one block. Okay, this see, I wish I could be here. Okay. Oops, no, okay. So I have to do it left-handed, which is useless. Okay, so the block is like a 4-patch here, a 4-patch here, And the bottom 4 patch has a half triangle that matches the bottom square. And that's the same at the top. Half triangle to match the color of the top corner. And so it was really 4 patches, except 2 of the 4 patches had triangles, and that was the stars. So that was a fun quilt to do. Under the stars from Craftsy, I put it on a flannel backing. And this was early on in my quilting. I did a pantograph quilting. I don't know if you can see the design, probably. Maybe on the dark you can kind of see. Nah, you really can't. What if I flip it over? You see that there, you can see the design. It's called square spiral. Now it's at a funny angle, but I like that design a lot. For me, I thought, you know, it's not girly. So no matter who you're giving the quilt to, it's kind of a nice quilting design. So that's that one. Let's see. What else? I think that's all I can say about it. So it was essentially a kit because I purchased the fabric. That's it. So it was from Craftsy. At the time it was Craftsy, before it wasn't Craftsy, and then it became Craftsy again. So, okay, so Flosstubers, thanks so much for stopping by. It was great seeing you, and I will see you again in 2 weeks. And remember, if you are interested in receiving a reward from me, a surprise from me, be sure to put the numbers in your comment. And I'll see you in 2 weeks. Happy stitching. Bye-bye.